And so the first thing I want to get into, I just had some random topics I sent to my Instagram. One of the topics really intrigued me because, so if you're not aware, my background is I started off like rapping, so rapping, producing, and writing. And so the collaborative process within the studio is just so interesting to me. So when I see like artists that superstars talk about the writing process or the studio process, it definitely intrigues me. So I hope it intrigues you. But this particular clip is from Tupac. So I'm going to play the clip and then we'll get into some story time a little bit.
I mean, shit, we only got 2 weeks to do this whole album. Complete it. Mix it down and everything. We don't have time or the luxury to spend all this time doing one song. We don't have it. We got to somehow find a way that we can double up in it. Because I did my whole album. I know it ain't all of that, but I did my whole album like 3 songs a day. Because I was just laying it, rocking it, and getting off. You can mix it later and have niggas that love being in the studio all night, just adding a drum beat at a time and shit. You can do that after the rappers leave and shit. There's niggas that love being in the studio that just love listening for the right kick. But for while we in here and you got like 8 rappers here and everybody drinking and smoking and shit, man, get that beat popping. Throw them niggas on the track. You catch everybody freestyling, throw them niggas on the track. That's just the name of the song is whatever this nigga said his last word was. We do it, put it down. Then after we finish, we walk out, everybody be here and listen to it. Like, this the hook, we go in there and lay the hook. If we don't like that hook, the nigga lay another hook, come back out here, you know, really scrap.
So the context was, it was from a channel called How Songs Were Made. I don't know if I found that on Instagram, but it says Tupac breaking down his fast-paced studio process, revealing why he preferred engineers to finish the technical work after his session was done. So if you're not familiar with the studio process, it's like a lot of times, so what you'll have for the most part is you'll have an engineer and the artist, right? And a lot of times the engineer will also be the producer. So the engineer also made the beat, i.e. producer, and there'll be an engineer. And I've seen that a lot. And what happens is it's this dance that you got to have, but amongst each other. But so let's just break down this simple process. The artist will 9 times out of 10, especially like, well, back in these days, they would write the verse. Obviously, they would be penning the verse, writing the 16 bars. And a lot of times they would already have had the beat prior to coming in the studio. So they already know, okay, I've had this beat for a week. I already wrote the verse, the hook, everything. I'm ready to go. And that's how it was. I sound old as shit, but that's how it was in my day. Whereas we didn't come in the studio to play because we had to pay for that studio time. And you got to do that now. But I'm just saying, you got to pay for that studio time. And you don't want to sit trying to write a song for hours or run into a writer's block situation. You would just come ready made. Now, Tupac is the type of artist where he wants to come in the studio and he's going to hear the beat. He going to be feeling that. All right, throw that on. He want to go in the booth, get it done, and be, all right, what's next? But here's the contention, and this is why this is good to highlight here. The contention between the producer, engineer, and the artist is that the producer and the engineer or producer or engineer has an idea of how they want certain bars to land, where they want this voice to sound like sonically, like a surround sound effect. They may hear something and say, let's cut the beat out for a second on this particular bar. They're so interested in the creative process of, because here's the thing, if the way Pac wanted things to go, right? If how he wanted it, where he walks in the studio, does a song, boom, bam, and then releases the song, you wouldn't fuck with it. Because a lot of this is magic within the studio process. I mean, think about your favorite songs. Go back and listen to them. It's not just about, it was just the beat and the bars. It was, you heard when you go back and listen to your favorite songs, listen to the ad libs. So as you listen to songs like, yeah, yeah, what? Huh? It's like even though those little ad libs is adding to the song. So they gotta go back in, do the ad lib, listen to the beat, how the beat break down, how the beat build, at what point does you get what I'm saying, how a song was arranged. It might not even been recorded that way, where the hook was first, or or the verse bridge hook. It's the way it was structured. So yeah, man, the way Pac want to do things, he's just coming from a space of, man, Pac wanted to get shit done. And there are artists like that is gonna be that contention in the studio, but it's a very interesting process, man. So let me just say, for me, right, story time. For me, how I've always been when it comes to creating music, I love the entire process. So for me, I'm not coming from a Pac angle. I can respect his angle, but I'm not coming from a Pac angle because I love the creativity of it all. So for me, I want to do the song, and then I want to sit back with the engineer and I want to play it back, and I want to add things, and I want to listen for certain things. I want to go back in and maybe twist and bend this, pause. And then I want to go with the engineer and producer, and I want to hear what their input is and how the effects they want to put on the vocals. Do we want to do a little more reverb there? Do we want to, I may say, hey, turn down that compressor a little bit. It's too punchy. I'm very technical with it. So, and I'm very hypercritical of the things that I'm putting out that I want to do. So, yeah, I think that overall, Pac doesn't want to be a part of that process. Like, Pac wants to get in, and it also makes sense as why Pac has so many songs. Like, Pac was rumored to have like thousands of songs in the vault, and I think to this day has not been released. And granted, let me just be fair. Even though this is Pac, megastar, they're not all going. They're not all hits. They're not all good songs. That's kind of, what's funny? I did never realize this because I think I heard Dr. Dre say this about Eminem, and he taught Eminem this. Up until probably 5-6 years ago, like, because I started at 13 rapping. Up until like early 20s, mid 20s, I didn't realize that these major artists were recording like 50 songs and then just picking 10 to go, or picking 12 to go on the album. I didn't know that. I honestly didn't, man. I know it sounds crazy, but I had never worked with a major label either. I had never reached that pinnacle of success. I was going by a strict budget, having to go in the studio, create my songs, do my thing, and then just release it. Now, were there a few here and there that I was like, that ain't gonna go? Yeah. But I just never had the luxury to record 50 songs and then have a listening party, or to have my peers sit and be like, yo, that's gonna go, that's not gonna go. So a lot of these artists, man, they're creating. And then they're also putting themselves in a certain creative space. Like, bruh, I know y'all heard that song. Beyonce and Jay-Z had a song. That song she had on I've been drinking, surfboard, and on that. Like, bruh, Beyonce was drunk. Had to been. You get what I'm saying? They had to be in such a creative space. They probably just left the club, probably just made love, good marital love. And then just was like, yo, ain't on that wood, yo, turn the mic on. And then they just get in that creative space. So sometimes the artists like to be in certain creative spaces. I actually wasn't privy to that either. I was pretty green on a lot of processes because I just had a way I would do things. And until I started writing for other artists, till I started getting part of the engineering process, the producing process, and just like filming So like I filmed reality shows and been a part of the industry. Until I got in that studio process, I didn't know artists wanted to be in a certain vibe. So for me, I would show up to the studio dead ass, right? How when I made my own music, I would not be drunk and high. Just not a thing I would do. YNs, bro, they showing up, rolling up. They gotta smoke first, get high first. Now, where there, certain situations where I'd be in a hole in the wall studio with my homie, and yeah, we lit. Yeah, that would happen, but it was not like if I was taking shit serious. I wanted to come with a clear mind, a clear head, ready to, give my best efforts. And I didn't think I could be in my best creative space when I'm inebriated. So, but yeah, these artists want to be in a certain vibe where they're like, man, I want some females in the studio. I want to get the drinks flowing. And that puts them in a vibe to make a dope ass club record. Or, yo, I'm not in the best creative, like not in the best mental space. I want to get in the studio and lay down something vulnerable while I'm feeling this and while I'm in it. It's the thing that we say about Drake when they be like, Drake goes through so many breakups and deals with so many women to draw inspiration from heartbreak. The same thing about R&B artists. When we say when she's heartbroken, like when Mary J. Blige is heartbroken, she a beast. Or, when Mariah Carey heartbroken or whatever, we looking like Keisha Cole gave you her best records when she was going through it with men. And it seemed like when they had happy relationships, we just don't get the best quality of music. You know what I mean? So shout out Pac though, man. Y'all know Pac in my top 5. So yeah, man.